Let us begin our ceremony with Kitab Al-Fatiha. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Welcome to Mahallah Halimatus Saadiah YouTube channel. My name is Dayang Nufatini binti Awam Asalihin, your moderator for today's online forum. Thank you so much to all our viewers who have been tuning for us ever since 8:30 p.m. just now. I've been waitingly patient for this broadcast to go live. Thank you so much for joining us and showing your support towards our program. I hope all of you are having an amazing day, doing fine and healthy wherever you are. With the topic effective online study techniques, we brought to you an amazing special guest, not one, but two very special and successful guests. Please welcome the top one Deansley student from History and Civilization Department, Sister Amira Shuhada. Woo! Hi, Mishu. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good today. Thank you so
Alhamdulillah, good.
much.
That's a good spirit. So, can you please introduce a little bit about yourself? Because I'm sure the audience are curious to know who is Amira Shuhada.
Okay, sure. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amira Shohada, or people know me as Mishu, and I'm from History and Civilization. I'm 3 years student, and I'm from Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. So yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
All right, thank you, Mishu. It's a pleasant to have you, and we are honored to have you tonight. So, not to forget our second great and amazing guest for today. Please welcome top three Deansley student from Communication Department, Sister Ilya Marsha. Woohoo!
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. Hope you guys are doing fine.
All right, so Marsha,
Yes, we are.
how are you doing tonight?
Sorry,
How are you doing tonight? Do you feel excited, nervous? How do you feel?
I'm quite nervous. I hope this session will be beneficial to all of you. So please bear with us with the 1.5 hours later on.
All right, sure. So, can you tell us a little bit information about yourself, please?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ilya Marsha. I prefer to be called Marsha. I'm a third-year communication student. I'm also majoring in journalism. So currently, I'm residing in Kuala Lumpur, but I'm planning to return to campus next week. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. So, I believe I hope it's not too late for us to bid both of you congratulations for your outstanding achievement. That is we are very proud of you, and thank you so much for joining us tonight and spare some time with us to share a little bit about online study techniques. So, to all our audience, I have something to share. I mean, I have a little task for you. So, feel free to drop in the comment in the chat box your place of area and whether it's clear to you. The way we're speaking for 3 minutes now, how is the line for you? Is it clear there? So what you can do is, for example, I'm from Kuching, Sarawak. Perhaps you can type in the comment chat. I will type Sarawak clear, meaning to say that I'm from Sarawak and I can hear the forum clearly from Sarawak. So if we see most negeri, the state, which we have most viewers, they will win a prize at the end of the show. No, but it's just for fun so that we know where everyone is. If we have international students here, you can just type in where are you from, where are you listening us, because it's a pleasure to have every one of you today. So feel free to drop where you are listening to us right now, as we would like to know about you too and not just about us. So before we begin, I would like to inform our beloved audience out there that we are going to have 3 rounds or 3 sessions for tonight's forum with the title "On Effective Online Study Technique." And if we have extra time, we would like to have a bonus round and also a Q&A session at the end. So let's not waste our time. I'm sure the audience are very excited to learn more about our topic today, and our speakers are also excited to share with you guys. So are you guys ready? Marsha and Mishu, ready?
Yes.
Ready whenever you are.
We are ready.
All right,
Sure.
perfect.
Ready whenever you
All
are.
right. So, round one, motivation. Ding, ding, ding. So, what is motivation? Motivation is all about your internal desire that drives you to accomplish your goals. This motivation makes you to take action, such as to study or to study hard, to do your assignments or to procrastinate. It is the driving factor that makes you do what you do. So, for students like us, Malaysians especially, who are used to have schedule in our daily life, ever since primary school, we wake up at certain hour to go to school. We have to follow this timetable. We learn BM and then English and then history. We have this practice, this norm ever since we are young and we are accustomed to it. But ever since the pandemic hit us and ever since almost 3 semesters now, we are learning online learning, the flexibility of not having a rigid schedule, not having to prepare ourselves to go to physical class, not having, not compulsory to walk to the center to go to class physically and whatnot, it sort of deteriorates our motivation. So, my first question is to Sister Marsha. What is your mindset that you do or that you keep or that you practice that make yourself stay motivated throughout online learning? Please welcome.
So, hi everyone. Hello again. Thank you, Sister Dayang, for the question. So, as explained by Sister Dayang before, so when we talk about motivation, we have to keep in mind that there's always our extrinsic motivation and also our intrinsic motivation. So, extrinsic motivation is when we consciously respond or feel motivated when we do something or when we perform an activity because you want, or shall we say because of a reward, or also to avoid punishment. So um, but when we talk about intrinsic motivation, it's like something along the line of performing an activity because you want to, or shall we say something about keikhlasan or sincerity. So at the end of the day, personally, I think your intrinsic motivation is more important because if you are motivated just because your deadline is here, or because you have a test tomorrow, or you don't want to be penalized because you are submitting work late, all these situation will actually exhaust you. So keep in mind that you have to be intrinsically motivated first if you want to study. You have to want to study first, and you have to open your heart to accept more knowledge, and to gain that knowledge, you have to open your heart first. Only then it will be beneficial, not only for you or maybe for your friends when you share it later on. So basically, getting an A or getting a 4 flat is obviously a good motivation, but I believe that you need to find that something that will make you deeply satisfied as a motivation. So intrinsically you will be satisfied. So as for me, I know I might sound a little bit nerdy, but I personally really like studying. So I like gaining more knowledge and being able to share it with my friend, and that is actually my intrinsic motivation. So I believe that I'm quite a simple person lah when it comes to studying. So for the past year, I have been sharing the same mindset. I know it's been less than a year since I'm actually practicing the online classes, but to me, online classes and physical classes are very much similar. There's not much difference to it except that now we're learning to a screen. So what I do to keep myself motivated is to always remember that there's generally not much different. So every day I still get up, I get dressed, I shower, I have my breakfast, and I attend all of my classes just like I would physically. So if I think my classmates would know when we started online learning last year, I do get dressed to class. I usually wear my jubah, or I would actually iron my tudung. But now I got lazy a bit, so I wear pleated shawls all the time. But I guess that's part of my routine, that to make it like something like my physical classes, except that I don't have those morning walks from Halimatus to HS anymore. So in this online space, I know that I have the flexibility to choose when I want to study. I can actually simply record my classes and actually postpone doing my notes. But I know if I have the liberty to the freedom to choose to postpone my classes and do my notes, I will end up feeling demotivated because things will keep on piling up, and after a while it will get overwhelming, because imagine you postpone 2 weeks of classes because you simply just got lazy, and then what will happen after that 2 weeks? So I treat all my classes as physical class. I ask questions during the lectures or after classes, or even I will text my friends after lectures. It's like discussing about class it's like discussing about class when you walk through to another class. It's like it's actually if you view it at another angle, something like that. So uh, in classes, I also try to be present. I either open my camera or I will talk using the mic. It's like talking in class. So I believe that we have to come to terms that online class is now our reality. You have to be mentally engaged in online classes as you are in physical classes. Plus, being engaged in classes will save you a lot of time to revise it on. And this genuinely have saved me a lot of time because I don't have to look back and comprehend things. I just look through notes and recall everything when I study later on, or probably later in class. So throughout the whole year, I have started to focus on the things that I find enjoyable throughout the whole learning process. From my experience, my major in communication is actually my first choice. So I very much enjoy learning. Uh, I very much enjoy what I want to learn. Of course, some courses are harder than the others and more demanding. But if we keep focusing on how hard it is, of course, you'll be stuck in this realm of negativity. So try to find the things that you enjoy, or maybe try to develop that interest into your subjects or your assignments. Because I too sometimes find some assignments are hard, but that is something that we cannot change at the end of the day, and that is our dependent variable. So it's just there and it cannot change. So what you should do is to focus on the things that you actually can change to make your assignments bearable, which is to seek help from friends, ask more, or read more about a certain topic or certain issues. What I also have realized is that I am more interested in a subject or a particular issue if I truly understand it. So I would advise everyone to invest your time in understanding your subjects and your tasks, and I'm sure that you can stay motivated throughout the whole semester. So think simply, don't focus on the things that you cannot change. Focus on the things that you actually can do. I have to say, everything is hard. Nothing comes easy. So everyone has a desire to succeed. So something along the lines of I want to study because I want to get four flat, for example, right? So, but there are times during this online phase that we get demotivated because our friends are not around, the workload is just unbearable, and sometimes the assessments are just too hard. But if you keep on focusing on the online environment, how hard the online environment is, there will be no end to it actually. I understand that some of us maybe are underprivileged. We don't have Wi-Fi at home. We don't have a personal space. We don't have a study table, and I feel that too. I am in your position too, but we have to try to make the best out of the situation. After all, we have to make the best out of it. This is what we have, and for me, is to treat my classes just the same. To be present in class and to always think only on the things that I can actually change. It's personal. It's very much like skincare. What works for you might not work for me. So dig deeper into yourself, and you can find what actually makes you really satisfied. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marsha. I'm sure why is I'm smiling throughout what she said because I feel personally attacked when she said that about if you think something is hard, you will be stuck in thinking there. So I guess it's all about mindset, yeah. And what Marsha said, it's opening your heart, to not think that something is hard, something is difficult, to to open your heart, to give yourself a chance that, hey, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can strive in this online learning. If other people can, perhaps I have a chance to. It might not be easy for me, but it's not impossible too. I should give the justice to myself by giving myself a chance. And I think that's what opening your heart mean, because when you, like Marsha mentioned, if you feel that it's hard, it's, you're closing your heart, you're burying it, and the motivation will never ever come to you per se. And okay. So the next question is, so we have already asked Marsha what is her mindset. It's about opening our heart so that we can get the intrinsic motivation which lasts longer and does not exhaust us. How about Sister Amira Shuhada? Sister Mishu, what is your routine or anything that you do to keep yourself motivated for online learning? What is your tips, perhaps techniques on how you keep yourself motivated? Please.
Okay, I hope you can hear me because I lost my connection just now.
No, we
Anyway,
can.
the question is there any routine that I follow or what do I do to keep myself motivated? To be very honest, I don't have any specific routine that I follow every day because I believe in flexibility. I like flexibility. I don't like things being too rigid. I don't like that. But of course, I do respect those who can follow specific routine every day. You guys are great because I cannot do that. So, for me, just like what Sister Marsha said, that we have two types of motivation and everything. And for me, motivation comes when you do things that you love or do things in the way that you love or suitable with you. Okay, it's like very related because that's how you get yourself motivated. Because I believe when you do things that you hate, it will lead to demotivation because it will lead to stress and then it lead to motivation. It creates unnecessary stress. Like you already getting hard. Getting so many assignments is hard for every student, and plus it's subject that you hate, so it will be double hard, and it will cause demotivation to you. So for me, motivation comes from things that we love or doing things in the way that we love. So what can I say? That the first tip is that know yourself better. You need to know yourself better. What many people will be like, oh, of course I know myself better. How can other people know me better than myself, right? But let's say if I ask you, okay, tell me, five strengths that you have, or five weaknesses, or what are you good at, what are you bad at? Like Marsha is thinking right now, right? If you can answer this instantly, that means you know yourself better. That's what I think. Anyway, by knowing yourself better, just like what Sister Dayang said, that what's different with online classes is the flexibility too, because we are just in front of our laptop or our gadgets. You don't have to go anywhere to study. You don't have go walk from HS to Econs to Halima. You don't have to do that. You're just in front of your laptop. So I believe that it's a big opportunity for you to try to arrange a perfect schedule for you. Schedule here, like I said, I don't have any routine, but schedule here, what I mean is that your class schedule, so the subjects that we fought for in pre-reg war. So, in order to get the perfect schedule that is suitable for you, there are three aspects that I usually look into. The first one is the subjects, of course, because I am same with Sister Masha. I also history also my first choice. Even though many people oppose me taking history, anyway, history is my first choice. It's something that I really passionate at. So, but we have also, 10 extra subjects that we need to take from other course, right? So yeah, you should try to take only subjects that you like or you think that you can adapt with. Don't just take it because you want to fulfill your credit hour. Take something that can benefit you and also things that you can work on it. Okay, so that's for subjects. So basically, usually you have arranged your schedule right before pre-reg. So try to have 3 to 4 subjects as backup. And also lectures. All lectures are great. Please don't misunderstand me. All lectures are good, but there are some ways that the lectures ways that are suitable for us and some are not. Okay, so try to look into survey your lectures first before you take that class. Uh, in order for you to not feel stressed later on because their ways are not suitable with you. So yeah, get know yourself better will be very helpful. And the last thing is the timing. This is from three aspect. For me, the timing is very important because in 24 hours, not every hours can work for your brain, can work efficiently for your brain. So try to choose what you need to know. What are the efficient time for you? For me, as example, I hate mornings. I don't like mornings. I'm not a morning person. I'm the type who stay awake at night and I don't wake up after so I usually sleep. Well, that's unhealthy. Well, please don't follow that. Anyway, what I want to say is that you I know that I'm not good at morning classes and I know my brain works better at night. So what I try is that every semester I will make sure that I will never have morning classes like 8:30 a.m. classes, all that. I will never have that, no matter how desperate I am. Like the earliest will be 10 a.m. and but only two classes that I have in this semester that starts at 10. Usually it starts after lunch hour. And I also have few night classes because I know that time is efficient for my brain. So yeah, it will be good for your online study. And so from the first part is that know yourself better in order for you to arrange a perfect schedule that can work for your study. The second one is you need to know things that can motivate you. What is your source of motivation? What are the things that can make you happy? If you feel stressed, what are the things that can make you feel energized back? You need to know that. So what I want to say is that try to have some me time. Me time. Me time every day, like 1 or 2 hours, or at least, no matter how busy you are, try to have like 30 minutes of me time. So by me time, you will energize back. If you feel demotivated, it will make you feel re-energized. And by me time means that you do things that you really really love, like your hobbies or what you love, every day. For example, okay, I give example again. I like to give example. For example, I love to watch movies and I also like to watch TV, just like any other students. I believe we are all similar. We love to watch TVs and movies. So every day, I will make sure that I watch at least one movie or 1 hour of any television shows that I love. For example, I love Bebe. For those people who know me, that's my source of happiness, actually. So yeah, every day I will make sure that I have those me time. Some people like sewing or swimming or cooking. Do that. Have those me time in order for you to get motivated to make you happy. So yeah, that's what I think. And other than that, that what I do in order to keep up my motivation. So I want to tell how to overcome demotivation. You know, uh, just like what I said earlier, try to do things that you love. It will really, really help you to get motivated. So yeah, I think that's for me. Know yourself
All
better. That's very important point.
All right. I
Thank
think
you.
Mishu shared with us two important elements here, which is to know ourselves better, where she shared with us the schedule, because sometimes it's not that we take it for granted, but of course, it's just for completing the credit hour. We tend to just take any subjects, although it might not suit us. We just tend to pick it up simply because we want to fulfill our credit hours and whatnot. So it's a very good tips on how she give us prior for us to prepare for the future semesters lah. And when she mentioned that do what motivates you and all it's the process of rewarding yourself, I guess, at the end of the day, in order to motivate you, it's reward, like all the things that you love to do, it's all about reward. Even in Islam, the concept of reward exists in the sense that if we do good in this dunya, Allah will reward us in the hereafter. So it motivates us. So don't feel bad or like, oh, I want to become so rigorous in my study, so I have to study all the time. I cannot have any me time at all, because or otherwise I will lose focus, or otherwise I become demotivated. In fact, if you keep on practicing such lifestyle in which you are too hard on yourself, you will get burnout at some point. And that's what Sister Misho highlighted, the importance of rewarding yourself. And just imagine if like you have something, like you say to yourself, okay, if I finish introduction today, I will reward myself by watching one episode of this series, for example. So it's a good thing, so you know that I have to finish this, otherwise I cannot watch this show at the end of the day because I don't deserve it and whatnot. So it drives you, because the end product, your CGPA, it at the end of the semester, you cannot see it. But what you can see now is you rewarding yourself. If I accomplish this task these days, I can have some me time just to relax myself and whatnot. So that wraps up our first round for tonight on the topic of motivation. I'm sure it's a very, very great and good points for inputs from our speakers. Just 24 minutes throughout the show, but we have already learned a lot of tips, lots of words of wisdom from our speakers. So I'm sure we cannot wait anymore for round two and round three. But before that, I would like to thank all our audience for commenting at the comment section. We have Selangor, we have Negeri Sembilan, we have Johor, Penang, Kelantan, Sarawak, Sepang, Perak, Cyberjaya, Kelang. Wow, this is so hard to pick the winner. But thank you everyone for participating. Thank you for commenting. So now the committees will pass the attendance link, Google form. So you may fill it in so that you will get the star point lah, as promised. So inshallah, let's move on to the second round. Ding, 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 on time management. So as we know, great time management skills are crucial to success. Often students have responsibilities outside of university, such as family, especially when we are at home right now, which can make juggling between university or responsibility as students a little bit harder when we are at home and whatnot. So, or perhaps when we have personal responsibilities or society's responsibilities. So, what so for Sister Marsha, what is your strategy in balancing university and other responsibilities, perhaps your society or your duty as a daughter and whatnot? How do you balance it?
So thank you, Dayang, for the question again. So I have to admit, learning at home is quite tough, especially when you are a woman. So last month, I conducted an interview with Dr. Sharifah Fatima on women in the pandemic, and she too admitted that females seemingly worked a third shift daily. Say if you are a student and you work part time and you have a lot of care work at home, such as managing the household, doing house chores, taking care of the elderly, taking care of your brothers and sisters, it's like working a third shift. So so all of these will actually take a toll on us. So obviously, time management is very important, especially if you're a woman. Okay. So there are three things that I always do. So firstly, I will manage all of my weekly meetings on Sundays. So on Sundays, I actually, or maybe sometimes Saturdays or Fridays, I will ask my groupmate, okay, when do you want to discuss A, B, and C? Okay, next week I am free at this time. Uh, or sometimes I actually, oh, do you want to discuss on Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Tuesday? Sometimes I
This
actually
this
give a
is
hint.
society or a group assignment
Group assignment. Oh
or group
no,
assignment.
actually for both, I decide on meetings if possible, like the week before, or on
Oh.
Sunday beforehand, usually. So my schedule will have been decided on Sunday. Then to make it convenient for people at home, I will also tell my parents and siblings about my plans so that they won't be disturbing me at that time. So my mom works too. She has classes too. So if she asks me to do something, I will do it at the end of all of my classes, and she will understand that. Because all of my classes are usually back to back this semester. So I have to admit that I have the privilege of an understanding family. Um, I know that we do have some cases where there are group mates that are uncooperative and won't respond to meetings. If you want to decide meetings earlier on. So what I usually do is I will wait for the whole day, and if they still don't reply, then I will just set the meetings myself. These things apply when I don't know my group mates personally, because sometimes in the department some lecturers actually decided our group mates for us. So I will just set my meetings and carry on, because no one's responding. So someone has to take charge about something. So unless there are too many people that didn't respond, then that may be another case of negotiation. So it's it's quite hard when they are uncooperative groupmates, but sometimes you have to be firm, you have to be strict, and you have to take charge. So the next thing is I have to give myself credit over the fact that I don't procrastinate. So I actually usually kickstart my assignments on the same day that I got them. I will set a timeline as to when do I want to finish a particular assignment, and usually the latest date will be the week before before the submission. So of course the deadline is not for me, but for my group mates as well. I usually like, okay, we have to finish this by this time and this time and this time. So we can because I actually like to review. I like to spend my time in reviewing and actually proofreading the assignments. So I very much
You need
prefer
some time earlier lah.
a lot of times, not sometimes.
Yeah, so that to proofread
So
and whatnot, That's explain
yes,
why you need
I
it
like
to
to
be
have a clear
completed at least
conscience.
1 week earlier. Understand?
Yes, I like
Oh,
to have a
that's
clear
great.
conscience
That's really good.
when I have leisure time. So I uh, prefer finishing my works first or to study first when I watch TV, for example. Because like Mishu, I reward myself with watching at least one episode per day. Or sometimes if I am really exhausted, when I'm studying, we have to sometimes, especially approaching final exam, we have several chapters to read. So what I do is I like watching animes, and animes is like only
20
20
minutes.
minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. So I usually will read a chapter and then watch an episode, and that will be on repeat until I finish everything. So I prefer that's what I do. So I prefer to be busy during the early weeks of the semester. So to have a clear schedule before the submission date, because as we know, usually our submission dates are quite near to each other. So I don't really procrastinate. I'm not the type of person to have a daily schedule. Like, okay, by 11 a.m. I have to finish this work and that and blah, blah, blah. But if things do get overwhelming and I have too much work to do in that 1 week, I have come to learn that sometimes, yes, sometimes I will cry too because maybe I get ad hoc tasks. I suddenly get millions of class exercises, but I have come to realize that writing it down actually helps. Sometimes you'll be so serabut over the fact that you have so much things needed to be done. So when it is actually in your head, it will it will be cluttering. So when you write it down, you will see that actually, no, it's actually quite bearable. So I don't have a to-do
True,
list,
true.
but when
I
it is,
agree. I agree with Marsha. I also
I
do
don't
the
have a
same.
to-do
I
list.
write it
Yes,
down. If we so overwhelmed, write it down. It will be empty here. True,
true.
true.
Well, it's okay to not have a daily schedule, but when it is necessary, I highly recommend it. So, I also keep track of my assignments using a monthly calendar. I actually paste it on my walls. So I will actually write down all submission dates and program dates and some live dates. In that way, I will actually know how much more time do I have to complete my work so that I won't miss any deadlines. So I'm also managing a lot of IIM today, and this position actually requires a lot of flexibility. I don't really have a peaceful week because I manage a daily portal. So what I do when I get tasks and ad hoc tasks, I actually get that allowed during the semester is to dive into it straight, but I by doing only one thing at a time, because I have to admit that I do get several tasks in one time in one day also. But the key to not miss out on anything is to take it one at a time. Chances are you will make a mistake when you try to get everything done at the same time and get it done fast without properly thinking. So take one thing at a time, and you realize that things can be done so faster and more orderly that way. And I just would like to add that I also treat synchronous and asynchronous classes the same. So my schedule will still also be the same. Meaning to say, I will write notes during class and I will also revise during class time. If I have a synchronous class, so I would have more time for other society's works and house chores. So I also allocate my time after class until before Maghrib as a free time so that I can do house chores and other things since I have class from morning until evening. So I think after you have listened to all of this, there's nothing extraordinary about it. It's something actually everyone do, but I think it do require a certain amount of discipline to actually be on track with everything. You just need to be disciplined in managing your work without procrastination. I would like to emphasize here. Then everything will come into place. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Marsha. So what we know is she plans on how to balance it. She plans. She does not procrastinate, and she take things one at a time. So it's to actually organize, your time, because at the end of the day, you actually have time. If you manage it properly, you will have time. There's no such thing as I don't have time. So I think let's hear from Mishu. What does she have to say about because Marsha said just now we have to do things one at a time, to not procrastinate. So Mishu, how do you keep yourself focused when doing your assignments, for instance? Because for me, when I do assignment, okay, I do, and then I don't understand such words. I Google, but after I Google, I dah tak Google the word only. I Google something else also, and then I forgot what I want to say. So
That's
Mishu,
why I
what
say
is
discipline, discipline.
baik cikgu, baik cikgu. So,
You
Mishu,
need to have
how do
self
you keep
control.
yourself focused? Yeah, probably lah, lack of self control. So, Mishu, the floor is yours. How do you keep yourself focused to do things one at a time?
Okay, so thank you so much for the question. Okay, so to be honest, I'm not, okay, maybe many people can relate with me. I'm not really someone who is organized. Like, I don't have any, book planner that I write every day what I need to do, specific thing that I need to do. No, I don't do that because, like I said earlier, I love flexibility. Life is free. You should be free to do anything that you want in any time that you want. That's for me. But of course, I do have some tools that help me. I don't have book planners, but I do have this. This is a book of sticky notes. There are many sticky notes here. And then I also have a memo board. Okay, sticky notes for something that is urgent for me to do. And then the memo board is for some of the long-term goals, like what I need to do for the whole semester or what I need to do for the next semester. And then I have this one. This is very vital for me as well. It's whiteboard. So, okay, like I said earlier, this one is for the short term. Like, if I want, because I think my opinion, if I need to write everything in the book, then I need to open it every time I need to know something. There's a lot of work to do. So that's why
I
I'm
actually
sticking it.
agree. By the way, I don't have a book. I actually do paste things on a sticky note at my board. But now since last year, I found it at DIY. Since like a 365 things where I can flip through. So I am promoting, but
Okay.
it's very cute. So because I have so much work this week, so I've been writing it down. So it's something like what Mishu has.
True,
Perfect,
like we
perfect.
write it down because but of course I do respect those who have planner. You guys are doing really really great because for me I don't have much discipline for do that to do that. Okay, so anyway, why I do like sticky notes or I have whiteboard because I can whenever I finish something I just rip it and then crumple it and then throw it into the dustbin. It means that my work is done. My work is done. If I write it on whiteboard, if I have done that work, I will erase it until there's nothing left on that thing. So it gives me such reliefness, It
Satisfaction.
gives yes, it gives me satisfaction because I finished all of this. But of course after that I need to write another things lah, okay?
It just adds up.
It just adds up, but at least you know what you already done. So that's really helpful for me because These sticky notes, I stick it everywhere, on my laptop, on the wall, on the mirror, in the book, everywhere I stick it. It's easy to see, it's easy to throw for me. Anyway, other than that, because I am someone who is active in societies, like in these 2 to 3 weeks, I have like five programs at once that I need to handle. So yeah, it's really hard to juggle, between societies and also academic. So what and also I understand that even though I didn't face the same challenges, but I understand that some people have, so many house chores that they need to do. They have brothers or sisters that they need to take care of. So my tips that I can give is know your priorities. Know your priorities can be very helpful. It doesn't mean that I asking you to not help your parents, no. But knowing priorities means that you know what you are going to do now, what you are doing now, what you are going to do next, what you are going to do later, and then what you're going to do tomorrow. Because for me, some people they get stressed because they feel like, oh, there are so many things that they need to do. But sometimes they are stressing about things that they need to, let's say, finish by next month. But of course, don't procrastinate. The procrastinate. It's so hard to spell to word it. Anyway, yeah, that's really helpful as well. You just do everything on track. Inshallah, you will be able to focus on getting everything's done. Anyway, yeah, knowing your priorities can be very helpful. You know what you need to finish first, and then I agree with Marshall. I also do this, getting one thing done at one time. Because when you are multitasking so many words at one time, you will feel stressed because there's nothing that will be finished. Like, oh, you do this and then you do this, you do this. After a week, nothing is finished yet. But if you do one thing at one time, let's say, one work. Today, oh, you finish, yeah, finish one thing, you can cross out, you can throw it. So it can give you, sudden surge of motivation also because you feel relief. Um, other than that, I want you all to prioritize yourself as well. Prioritize your body, prioritize yourself, your health. Because for me, there are times that I get so overwhelmed. There are so many things to do. It's okay for you to step back or slow down your pace. Stop everything that you are doing on that time. Try to step back and try to
Take
sort it
some
out
sleep.
one by one. Take some sleep, yes. Get some sleep if you want. Eat if you want. Drink if you want. Rest if you want. Because don't force yourself to do things, so many things at one time. Don't force yourself. Don't challenge your limit too much. Okay, and it's okay to ask for help. And learn to say no as well. Can be very helpful because sometimes I already have so many things to do, and then people come, oh, Mishu, can you be this? Can you be that? If I think I cannot handle it, it's okay to say no. So yeah, like I said earlier, I have tools. I believe that everyone have their own way of study, but these are the ways that I do. I have sticky notes. If you're comfortable with book, do it. And also, yeah, knowing your priorities, prioritize yourself, prioritize having self care, and then prioritize your health is very important as well. Thank you.
All right. So we're only talking about time management, but it's like interconnected, with everything in our daily life. And I do have to point out some of the important points being highlighted by our great speakers today. They prioritize things and they mention what they have to do. They write it all out. Perhaps you never tried this tip before, but if you try, maybe it works for you, and it's no harm to try it. Maybe it will make a significant change in your life. When you write things out, you know what you have to do, what you have to accomplish, so oh, actually I have these things to do, so it's not that much in I have to accomplish. And by having timeline, as both of you mentioned, we know what to prioritize, what to do first and what not. And at the end of the day, we will not procrastinate because we know that a small a small progress is still a progress at the end of the day. Even though you're just doing a one paragraph of introduction, that's better than not doing it at all. Even though you're just doing one point or you're looking for ideas, for instance, and whatnot. So it's still a progress. So to conclude this session, I must say a quote. It's either you run the day or the day runs you. So the power is in your hand. You have to manage your time in order for you to be organized, in order for it to run for you. Otherwise the day will just run just like any other days. It will just be the next Monday, the next Tuesday. Before you know it, you're already at week 14. It's already submission time. You're getting more and more stressed. So to not let your day run over you, you run the day. And to run the day, all the tips are being shared by our great speakers. They practice this and it helps them to become successful as proven through their achievement. So if we were to learn that, we can grab some of the tips that they share and apply in our daily life. So on to our final round for tonight. Before that, I would like to invite all our audience. If you have questions, you can just type it at the chat box and we will definitely voice it up to our speakers. I will pass it to our speakers. If you have any question, just give them. They will try their best to answer it. And go type at the chat box, okay? So the final round for tonight, ding, 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 with the topic learning strategies. So, Sister Mishu, back to you again. Sorry, you don't have a break, eh? You don't take some rest to relax a bit.
It's
So,
okay, let
Sister
me drink
Mishu,
first.
sure, help yourself. Yeah, okay, okay. So, I was just wondering, how do you in your opinion, does staying active in class per se helps to contribute in your achievement? What is your attitude in class? Are you the type who like to ask the lecturers? Are you participative? Perhaps you can share with us what is it like for you with class? The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I really like this question, to be honest. Okay, for me, I think being active in class, participative in class, really, really beneficial and really contributing in my achievement because I start to be very active since last semester and it was during that time when my grades improved. So I think it's really, really helpful and also beneficial. But I understand that for me, being active and participative in class give me, help me to understand more. You don't have any confusion. So in class, you basically understand almost all or 90% of everything that your lecturer is teaching you. You understand everything. So because you solve the confusion by directly asking them, right? But I understand that not everyone have the courage to ask to talk in front of people or ask in the class. So I think from my experience, because of course I was someone who was very shy as well, and then I tried to have some practice. Anyway, I have like some tips that I can give based on my experience. Okay, but before that, there are two things that you need to have before you being active in class. There are two things that you need to have. The first one is courage, and the second one is willingness. Even if you are very, very brave, but if you don't have the willingness, you are not willing to speak in the class, you will not go anywhere. So there are two things for me that you need to have. First, courage, and second one is willingness. Okay, for the one for some people who want to try after this, there are three steps that I think can be very helpful from my experience. It's not from Google or anything, so I don't know if my ways are correct, but I think it can be very helpful. Okay, the first step is what I call a baby steps. Baby steps because it's quite easy. What are the steps? Try to answer the questions that have obvious answers. Questions that you already know the answers. But in this case, there's no right or wrong. Okay, I give you example because I like give you example. Let's say if you answer quiz in Italim, you answer quiz and then you submit it. You already know from the system which one is the right answer, which one is the wrong answer. You absolutely know because the scheme was given by the lecturers, right? Or when lecturers asking, like lecturers start the class and then they say, Assalamualaikum everyone, how are you doing? And things like that. So those are the questions that you obviously have the answer for. So try. But you need to have the willingness. You need to have the willingness to take your mouse, for example, and click on the mic icon and try to speak. Because some people they will feel like, oh, it's okay lah, other people can answer
Other
it.
people
But
answer, yeah.
yeah, other people can answer it, so I don't need to answer lah. Let other people. So when you keep doing that, after some time you will not feel comfortable in speaking in online classes at all. So yeah, try to have that willingness, and it can help build your courage. Why? Because in this case, there's no right or wrong. Some people, they are scared to speak because they afraid what are they saying are wrong. You know, their answers are wrong. But in this case, there's no right or wrong. And also, the audience will focus on several persons instead of one person. They will focus on several persons. You don't feel like the spotlight is on you. So yeah, it can be very helpful. That's why I call it baby steps. From if you want to run, you need to have this first. Okay, so the second steps is a little bit higher because the spotlight will be on you. But again, in this case, there's no right or wrong. Why? Because, for example, let's say try to volunteer whenever your lecturer asks you to read some text. You know, if you have put there, let's say, oh, can you read the passage from here to here? Try to volunteer yourself. Try to volunteer yourself. Don't let the same person, only one person keep talking in the whole class. I mean, sometimes that person, they are okay to speak in the whole class, but sometimes they also need some other people. They're afraid if other people don't have opportunity to speak because of them. That's what I feel because I talk too much in class. I talk too much in class to the extent that I feel like, why other people don't want to speak because of me? Like that. So yeah, try to volunteer yourself to read tests or to explain situation. For example, if the lecturers ask you to watch a video, watch a video, and then the lecturer said, okay, what do you got from this? So try to give your answer. What do you see? Or they ask obvious question like, what is the name of the main characters? Blah blah blah. Try to answer. There's no right or wrong because you already watched the video. So yeah, this is the second step, and the third step is the highest level steps, from my opinion, because first the spotlight is totally on you. You are the everyone will be hearing what you're talking. Okay, everyone will be hearing what you're talking, and there is right or wrong question or answer. Okay, because some people, they are afraid, like I said earlier, they are afraid to answer questions because they're afraid if they are wrong. And there are some other people who are afraid if they ask dumb question, they're
Mm.
afraid if like, oh, my question is so dumb, I don't want to ask lah. No, there's no such thing as dumb question. Just ask. The lecturers will really, really love you for doing so. So in this example, for the third step is when you're answering questions, you answer question, the lecturer give like KBite questions or high level questions that you try to answer. Like there's no try to give your opinions, or they ask us to think and then tell the class what you think. There might be wrong or right answer, to be honest. Maybe you think like too far away from what he want or what she wants, right? But yeah, these steps can be very helpful because at this point you already brave to talk in the class. You already brave to talk in the class. You are prepared to face the risk, any risk, any risk for asking, for answering wrong, any risk of you have wrong opinions, things like that. But opinions shouldn't be wrong. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, why I think being active and participative in class can be very helpful because yeah, you will understand everything that you are learning in the class. And also, I really want to encourage all of you, all of the audience to try to be active in class because it can make our lecturers happy. Okay, I want you to imagine. Some people might feel this. If you lead a meeting or you are in program, you are the only one who open the camera and talking. And when you ask, other people want to talk, other people want to talk, then nobody answer. You feel like, oh, why nobody answer? You feel sad, right? Imagine you're facing this every day. Imagine
Mhm.
your lecturer open keep asking like, do you have any question, do you have any question, but no one answer, no one even answering no questions, like that. So
True.
it's quite saddening. So try to make your lecturers happy. You will get the blessing. It's beneficial for you, it's beneficial for you. It's literally I cannot stress this out. It's literally beneficial for you and your study. So try to have the courage to do that. So yeah, those are three steps that I think can be very helpful for you to start being active in class, because everyone starts from zero. Not everyone just born and then taught in the class. No, we all learned the process. So
So
thank you.
so Mishu, the three steps
So
are: number one is open your mic. I mean, ask,
yes, open your mind, answer questions that have obvious answers.
like, do you have any question? If you have no, then answer no. If you have question, then answer yes. You know,
Ah,
that's
yes,
that's
yes,
like the example
yes.
of obvious question. You know, it's very
Or
simple.
like
Do you understand class?
Assalamualaikum. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Like that. It's
Assalamualaikum,
really
ya.
simple.
Assalamualaikum also. Just open your mic.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam,
Waalaikumsalam.
madam, sir. You know.
Sometimes the same people keep saying waalaikumsalam, waalaikumsalam, waalaikumsalam. It's like, try to be one of the several persons who answer that waalaikumsalam.
I
All right.
think
So
I
that's
think
That's
the
second
first
the
step.
step.
only part where everyone speaks is when to say thank you, madam. Assalamualaikum.
At the end of the class.
Yes, yes, yes. Try to have the energy. Try to have the energy
At the
throughout
All
the
of
beginning.
the
class.
class. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly, exactly. So number one is open your mic to answer the obvious questions such as apa jawab salam. If lecturer tanya, do you understand? Say yes. You know, that's just yes or no question. That's the first baby step. And then you move on to make apa volunteering yourself. You know, when the lecturer say, oh, what's
Yes.
your opinion on the video? What do you think about? Give us your opinion. When it comes to opinion, it doesn't. Apa, you don't. There's no right or wrong. So you don't have to be afraid about it. If it's wrong, then at least you try, you do something out of your comfort zone, for instance. And number
My
three
lecturers
is,
will love you for doing that. Don't worry.
yeah, true. Actually,
They
lecturers
will
will
accept all your opinions.
yeah. No lecturers will say no. They will, okay, if they want to say no, they'll just say, okay, but dia macam anyone more close, they never reject your answer. They never say openly to you, you are wrong, you are not smart. No. It does not
True,
happen
true,
because they
true.
appreciate your response, you know. And number three, Mishu said ask questions, right? The most
Yes, ask
the third step.
questions.
And I saw in the comments when people say actually they don't know what to ask. What is your say on that?
Oh,
When
if you don't
when
know what to ask, if
hmm,
you really understand everything that you are learning, I really applaud you for that. But if you don't have anything to ask, try to think out of the box. Okay, if I can give example, there's in my anthropology class, in my extra elective class, if I have some time to speak about it. Anyway, my lectures talk about three criteria about being a Malay. Like you need to be a Malay, Malay descent, adat, and then you need to Islam, and then speak Malay. There are three criteria. Okay. Then I was very very curious. What if the person convert? What if the person convert?
mm,
Yeah, he will not fulfill the first. Actually, being Islam is the first criteria. What if they're convert? Are they not Malay now? What is that? What are their, kaum? So yeah, try to think out of the box. Try to think something that is not stated clearly in the book, or try
happening in
to
your
challenge
daily
the
life.
lecturer themselves. Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is happening? Try to relate what you are learning with what you are doing in daily lives. It can be. They accept all questions.
Mm.
Don't worry about that. They will accept all opinions. They will accept all your questions. They will love you for doing that. As
True.
all of my
Sometimes,
lectures are like that.
yeah. Sometimes
What?
the easiest question to ask is to ask for examples, because sometimes
That's the
True.
trick.
Yes. Yes.
you think that you don't you understand, but when you want to give an example, you can't. So try to
Mm.
actually envision first an example, and then probably you can ask for clarification. And if you really can't generate one, you can just simply ask. It's the easiest thing to do.
True. Wow, I
True.
do
True.
find that one very helpful. You know, Mishu said about relating it with your daily life
Example.
experience, what's happening around you, relating to the lectures. And when Marsha said, ask for example, that's easiest thing, in terms of, for example, definition ke apa ke. If you feel
Also,
like
one
you
more thing.
understand, huh?
One more thing. Ask for more description.
Yeah,
Let's say
yeah,
my example. Ask for more description. They will
yeah.
gladly answer.
True. But make sure you understand lah, because you cannot simply just ask the lecturer. Otherwise, they will feel like you don't listen to my lecture, ke, So make sure that
True, true,
the
true.
description or example is reasonable or related to the lecture. So I think this question we should ask right now. So Mishu, do you ask the Sister Hanisa Kamaruddin asked, do you ask the lecturer's question on the spot or you wait until the end of the lecture?
Oh, I will identify the ways of the lectures first. There
Yeah.
are some lectures they don't mind to be disturbed. Let's say
Interrupted.
if they say things like this, they say like this. If you want to ask question, just stop me. Okay, so you can do
Uh,
that. Just stop them. Like open your mic, or if you feel shy at first, try to say in the chat box. Sir, can I ask a question? But don't ask there.
mm,
Sir, can I ask question? When they read your chat, and only then you say your question, because that's like minta izin dulu. Or
mm,
there are some lecturers who really love to ask, do you guys have any question, do you have any question, do you have any question, every time they teach certain subtopics. So in that case I will ask during those time that they give. But there are cases where you forgot about the question. This always happens, so that's why I have sticky notes. So I write my
mm.
question. Let's say I what is he talking about? I don't understand. So I write it first, and then I stick it, or you just write it anywhere in your notes, and then later you can ask about it. That's how I usually do it. I identify your lectures first. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Marsha.
Um,
Marsha?
I would like to add something. I do have some issues in speaking up in class sometimes because when I talk, sometimes I just completely blanked out. So what I do every time I want to ask, or if I plan to ask, I would write it down. I really
Mm.
like writing things, so I just write everything down. In that way, you won't blank out mid sentence, or you won't forget your question anymore. But sometimes, like throughout the lecture, sometimes lecturer answer your questions later on, so I would just throw it away. So just to give you,
Understand. Because sometimes we like to ask, but actually it's going to be explained later. So just
yeah,
anything, if you have any curiosity, just jot it down. And if it's not being answered at the end of the lecture, you can ask, when the lecturers, of course, every lecturers will ask you at the end of the lecture, do you understand? Do you have any questions? So that is the platform for you to ask them. Wow, what amazing sharing lah. But before that, Marsha, what is your practice during online learning? Are you participative? Do you adopt the same thing like Mishu, like you mentioned earlier? You get dressed up during class. So is it helpful for you? What does it have impact to your uh presence in class when you go dress up? Because you mentioned that you iron your tudung for class and whatnot. So how about you?
so thank you, Dayang, for the questions. Actually, I do get the question a lot. Like, how does this thing help you? So, firstly, it actually really helps with the mood. Actually, the mood really I think after the MCO, quite a lot of us actually revamped our room. Actually, we have a table. I actually gantung this up, and sometimes we even have some aromatic diffuser coming around just to have that studying mood, because uh, what this what dressing up means to me, and what having this mood means to me, is actually is to create this situation as I would have in a physical class. So not only that I actually dress up, I do have some ways, actually some regime to set up my day, so that I can actually able to understand lectures. So the first and foremost thing that I do is to have that not aroma, no, to have that aura, and then so I have quite a lot of synchronous classes, and I do practice some things to actually help me understand lectures better. So I do like reading textbooks. Some people would call me a nerd, but I don't think so. And ever since secondary school, I prefer the textbook or over any other reference books. So I very rarely use reference books. I just read the required reading materials that are in classes, and that have helped me a lot. But like everyone, I too am lazy to read before classes. Um, I think I have mentioned before, I write notes during my class, but my notes are not only mere lecture slides. I will write things with my own wording and understanding, meaning to say that I will write notes based on how I understand it or how my lecturers word it, because
Explain it.
I'm actually
You
a
need to say you
kinesthetic.
don't copy the slides lah, you know.
No, I mean, in that way, you can actually Google things if you want to have this slide. So I'm a
Understand?
kinesthetic learner. I'm not a visual learner. I don't remember things that I see or hear or listen to. I remember more when I try to do things. So what I did here during classes is I try to have an example that could relate to me. Then only I will understand it, and then only I will remember it. So when I write my notes, I try my best to write as many examples as possible. If I am unsure, I will ask my lecturers about the examples, like I said just now. And I will consult the lecturer only after I realize that I truly don't understand one particular thing. But I will first work my way to understand it by reading textbooks or Google it first. So I also keep in mind not to carry forward last week's lecture to a new week. If I've yet to complete my notes during class time, I will do it in the weekend of the same week, because, like I said, I don't want to pile up a lot of things. And also, if I were to delay or postpone my understanding of my topic, this will only prolong my confusion, and I will get more confused when my lecturer moves on to a new topic. So I will always try to study and understand the topic during the same week. And talking to your friends really help. Not only that you have this aura of class and you have the notes that you do similar to physical classes, talking to your friends actually bring out the environment itself, the environment of physical classes, environment of being on campus and having friends. If I want to clarify or I don't understand something, I will ask, always text or call my friends first. And if they also don't understand, we would engage in this discussion. And that is where you will most likely get more examples, because your understanding is not the same as my understanding. Dayang might understand it different. I might understand it different. So I am not sure if these are actually tips, but this is what I practice. I don't like confusion to prolong. If I am curious or need more clarification, sometimes I would just search it up on Google or on YouTube, or sometimes I would read some articles about it. Learning a new thing is fine. You just need to understand it how you best understand things. You just need to find that way, find that compatible way of how you study things. You have to know your learning style and remind yourself that there is no good coming from delaying things. So always luraikan your confusions early on, then you'll be just fine. So same thing, like I said, this physical classes is this online classes is similar to physical classes to me, and that what really helps me is I create a new mood in a new environment. Thank you.
Wow, wow, what an amazing two perspective that we listen from Marsha. We learned that she bring the campus vibe to her four corners of her room. She treat all the classes like a physical classes. She prepare herself. She do notes. She get ready for class. She talk with her friends to keep that to feel like you are communicating with your friends while walking from HS to the center or whatnot. So keeping that mm, aura or the environment alive keeps your spirit alive, I must say. It helps you to be more prepared in class. Just like the key point is you're treating online class just like face-to-face class, and it definitely helps to improve your focus in class, and also your understanding, regarding the subject matter. And like you said, the most important thing is don't follow your confusion. If you have any question, just ask. Ask your friends if you are afraid to ask the lecturers, or you Google it. You try to find more about it. Don't just shoo away or throw away your confusion. That's from Marsha's perspective with reading regarding the learning strategies. For Mishu, she shared with us a lot on how to adapt with online learning, in the sense that how to become more participative in online class. So I'm pretty sure that the the discussion brought by both of our speakers tonight are very, very interesting, and I'm sure very beneficial to each and one of us. So, as we can see, there are lots of questions, burning questions at the comment section. Um, with that being said, we have ended all three rounds of our online forum tonight, and we're moving on to the Q&A session. Congratulations to all speakers. You already managed to share everything with us and completed all the rounds justly. And efficiently. So the first question is from Sister Rashida to Sister Marsha. Do you think is it okay to depend on our social media a lot when we are doing our using it? Example, I keep my files and notes on WhatsApp. And it turned out I might be distracted on doing something else when I surf on those WhatsApp and whatnot. So what is your opinion? Is it okay for us to depend on social media?
Personally, I use WhatsApp a lot because my work depend on WhatsApp. So I do keep files on WhatsApp a lot also. But to me, personally, it is definitely okay to use to keep files and notes in WhatsApp because you can easily connect it to WhatsApp web and you can backup it, and so it's like a safe cloud. But I think back to our discussion, it might distract you to open something else. It's a lot of self-control when you want to depend on the internet. But what more is now that we are currently depending on the internet for everything. So um, um, especially when we do our assignments, of course, we want to listen to songs. You open the YouTube, Spotify, and then suddenly we're at somewhere else. So I believe that it is completely okay, but you need to have that amount of self-control if you want to use online things. If you don't want to, then I would suggest the traditional way is that you print things out. Because for me, I don't like staring at the screen for too long. So printing things out will actually repress you from procrastinating and do other things. Um, Sister Rashida, what you can actually do, if you don't have that self control, then don't opt to use everything on WhatsApp. And it's also not healthy because of your screen time. Try your level best to not do that. But if you can actually balance your screen time and also balance your discipline, you can manage all these things. It's definitely easy for you. Like for me, I rarely, very rarely. I think part of the reason is because I use my hotspot, uh, so I have to be mindful of my usage. So I think that really helps with me being disciplined. But I think if you want to depend on the internet, you should have a certain amount of discipline. Thank you.
All right,
Can I
perfect.
add
I hope
something?
that answer
Like,
your
can I
question.
add?
Yeah, sure, sure.
If you're someone who doesn't have much discipline like me, I want to suggest like I also put so many things on WhatsApp. So usually we have like our personal chat for us, and then we pin it right. Usually I write what I need to do next in the chat also. So when I scroll it, or when you go back, like when you're back and then you scroll with your friends, and then you will see your reminder on the top of the chat. You will see a reminder, oh, after this I need to get this done, or after this I need to solve this, solve that. So yeah, it will be really helpful for you to put the reminder on the phone itself so that you can see. So when you are getting distracted, it will bring you right on the
Right.
track. Right, that's what I do lah. Because I'm not someone who have a lot of self control. Thank you.
Understand. That's actually a great tip, because I'm sure every one of us we have this chat room, but it's just us in it. So perhaps it can be a platform to also remind us, about our to-do list, our things that we have to accomplish. So from Brother Ilham Muazzam for Sister Mishu, what's the biggest challenge in doing online take-home tests as opposed to a decentralized final exam, specifically for a history student? Wow.
Okay, to be honest, one of the big contributor for my grade usually is the take-home test or OBT, open book test, but it's different. Open book test in class and also open book test in online. The big difference is the question itself. As a history student, of course we like facts, but in online, I don't know why the lectures will make it everything kebat. Everything is like very, very high level. You need to critical thinking. There's no like you silent facts
Direct.
anymore, or you need to only understand. You need to understand it, but in higher level. So that's the big challenges that I think. But usually, what I do whenever I have like OBT or online class, online take home test,
Exam. Mm.
what I do is that at first I read everything. I read everything, all the topics. Some people they feel like, oh, this is open book test or this take home test, so I don't have to read. No, for me, you have to read first, understand the topic, so that you will not spend much time to understand it during your exam
During the exam
because we
time.
have limited time. We have limited time for our final exam. We only have like 6 hours, and then need to write like 5 pages, 7 pages essay. So you need to understand everything first, make notes, and then again I use sticky notes to to mark my part, mark the points. So it will be very helpful because I will not spend much time to flip all the pages. I know exactly where I need to go. I know exactly where the answer is or the source of the answer because, like I said earlier, one of the big challenges is all questions usually kept by. And also internet. Internet can be very, very challenge. Can be a big challenge for us as well because sometimes you cannot send in a taklim or you you find the information in Google, but then you cannot open internet. So how? Yeah, so that's why you need to prepare everything beforehand if you have time. Or if you don't have time, make some time. At least you know briefly everything. What are you learning? What will you answer? Because usually the lectures will give us the
Topic.
scope or topics early. Topics no, but they yeah, topics. They give us those earlier. So try to put it on physical books as well. Put it on physical books because you cannot be depends on internet because you don't know what will happen. So yeah, that's
Mm.
my answer as a history student to Brother
All
Ilham.
right. Thank you so much, Mishu. So, Sister Marsha, just now you mentioned that you take notes during class, right? So, what is your style in taking notes? Maybe you can demonstrate to the audience, your notes, maybe.
Okay.
What is your style in taking notes?
I'm not a creative person, so I don't like my handwriting. Personally, I don't. But so I don't like uh reading reading things that I wrote. But in class notes are definitely an exception. So if you Google, you have all these methods. You have you can do mind maps or and other things. But what I do, I my notes are very simple. I like I use two highlighters for one. Oh, I have a particular notebook for every class, and I use two highlighters for one class. So the first highlighter, say I will use pink for the heading, and I would use purple for the subheading. So this can help me differentiate. But sometimes when I have subheading, I would use another color. So this can actually help me differentiate, and something like what Mishu did with the sticky notes. But I don't want to have sticky note in 2 pages, sticky notes 2 pages, sticky notes. So instead, I use the coloring. So other than that, uh, I don't have a particular way of writing. Because I have Googled beforehand. Before this, like sometimes you have this method where you write things and then you have the summaries underneath. I don't have that. I like I said, I like reading textbooks. So my notes are similar to textbooks. It's like okay, study tips, one explanation, two explanation, three explanation. It's fairly simple,
Straightforward.
but yeah, it's very straightforward. It's easy for me to read, and it's easy for me to identify. But sometimes what can help is I sometimes don't write notes, especially if it's a fast-paced class. Um, I would use the textbooks directly. Meaning to say, I would just or I would print slides. Sometimes lecturers do give us slides. I would print the slides and I would add my notes and actually highlight the things that are important, because
Prince
sometimes we
lights.
do have yeah, highlight all the things,
Prince
because
lights.
that's
Wow.
that one is fairly easier. But for me, I think to have that understanding, writing it down will be better. But sometimes in some classes, lecturers do rush through slides, so I would recommend having that textbook also. So that's what I do. It's
Mhm.
very simple. I'm a very simple person.
So if I may
That
add,
doesn't sound simple.
But it's
so if I may add, to make, because your note is your personalized note, so you don't have to copy what you said on Google, on YouTube, because do what works for you. Especially when doing in class note, it's very fast. You're trying to catch up with what the lecturer is talking. At the same time, you're trying to jot down notes. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Because like what's portrayed in the Google one, it's like so perfect. Like they spend hours of doing it. In online class and doing classes, we don't have that much time. So do what works for you. You don't have to make it perfect. Like Marsha said, it's just straightforward, simple note for you to recap what is being learned in class. And I'm apart from using highlighters, using sticky note for Mishu and highlighters for Marsha, for me, CDT both for me, for me,
It's
I
okay, share your tips.
okay.
for me, for me, I like to draw. Just a small macam just a small drawing, macam for instance communication, communication it's repeated tau, macam you
Yeah.
okay, the traditional communication, you will media, you have um TV, radio, a newspaper. So what I did is, instead of jotting down TV, radio, newspaper, I make my notes interesting by drawing the TV itself. It's not a perfect drawing. I'm not Leonardo da Vinci. No, no. I'm just Dayang Nofatini. So it's just a macam cartoon punya ni. If it's a tree, I draw a tree. If it's like money, I draw dollar money, RM. Tak ada. I
As
don't
long
draw
as
the
you
muka.
understand lah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's understand,
Yeah.
and macam ada like image sikit. Macam tu lah. Just to be fun, be creative in your notes. You don't have to restrict yourself by making it perfect, because it's your note. At the end of the day, you are the one who wants to understand it. Cik, tiba masuk. Sorry. But I hope it's something lah for our audience there. So from Sister Naziha, Sister Mishu, she asked, do you think it's okay for someone to ask question through the lecturer in the chat box only? Because some people are shy to ask to the lecturer using their microphone or face to face. So is it okay to ask through the chat box?
Yes, I really understand there are students who are very shy to ask. That's why I shared the 3 steps to be courage, to have the courage. But if you really, really feel shy, you really cannot talk, See the lectures first. There are some lecturers who will not open their chat box at all. There are some lecturers like that. They will never notice you until there are other students who say, sir, there are
This
questions
question.
in the chat box. Until then, they notice your question. So there's a big possibility that they might not notice your question, or they might misunderstand your question. There are possibilities like that because, writing is different than you are talking, because you're talking you can elaborate more about your question, but in writing you just need to, if you ask too long, a very long text, it will make the lecturers confused. If you ask too short, the lecturers doesn't know what you actually want. So for me, it's okay, it's really okay for you to ask in chat box. Depends on your lecturers. If the lecturers are the types who open the chat box, it's okay. But yeah, I think it's really good if you, by having question itself is very good, because many students, they don't have questions. Or they have questions but they don't want to ask, neither on chat or neither using mind. Having the question or asking the question itself is a very good move. It's like the starter. So try to have more courage over the time to open that mind and talk, because believe me, it will be like more effective. But yeah, both works. For me, it's okay. You do you. But I think it's better if you open mind as well. Just to avoid any, there are many possibilities.
Misunderstanding,
Yeah.
miscommunication semua. All
Yeah.
right. So
Beautiful.
our last question from tonight is from Sister Iman Ghazali. I think this is open for both of you. So how have both of you ever experienced dealing with free rider, and how do you solve it? So Sister Marsha, start dulu.
All right. Okay. I think thank you for your question, Mr. Iman. I think this is what a lot of us have faced or currently facing, especially with group mates that are decided by lecturers. So I'm a very annoying person. I would repeatedly ask until I get an answer. So first things first is like I said, I set up a timeline. If no one actually and I would actually, okay, if no one's doing it, I would create the docs. I would do everything to actually ease people. I think I do have some instances where I have to think of the topic and the outline, and I don't mind doing that to a certain point, because I think it's my grades as well, so that matters. If no one wants to take initiative, then I will. But then you have to know the line between people using you and you actually helping your group. Because if there's only one-way communication, then certainly from the start you need to report it to your lecturer. But if you do have an engagement of some point, I think you should bear with it first until for sure that your group mates are actually free riding. So um, so I set up a timeline, and then I create the docs. I have an outline, and then we delegate tasks. If my group mates are still uncooperative, I would directly report it to my lecturers, especially when the deadline is near. But in some instances, there are lecturers who do not want to hear these reports. So take up the initiative to write a task table. It's like, okay, introduction included it. Last semester, we also have a lecture where he asked us for a remark. So does this person actually did their part well? Does this person actually did part well? So I think that will actually help rather than um, rather than you compromising your grades for the whole group, and you actually have to do everything by your own. But I think you have to remind to other people first that these are not only their grades, but it's your grades as well. And if you are not taking this seriously, then you should be gone from my group, because I want to take this seriously. because it is my grade, it is my future, and if you don't want to take if you don't have the same goal as me, then you should find another group. I think you need to be
Understand?
clear from the start. Yeah. Okay,
Understand. So
Sister
it's
Bishu.
about Sister Misha, do you what would you like to add anything?
Just like Sister Masha, I also someone who like to to divide the tasks among, like, I think like the one who is in charge. But Alhamdulillah, so far, almost all my groups are very cooperative. I have like specific group mates for everything. But yeah, I do face a free rider once. But anyway, this is like how I usually do it. First of all, let's say, I really believe in fairness or equality. I believe that, like Marsha, she doesn't mind to do others works, like do more works than other people. That's great. But for me, I cannot even though I'm the one who's doing work, but I cannot see one of my teammates do more works than the others. I believe in equality. Everyone should have the equal number of works and also equal burden. That's why I feel like, oh, if this topic is like easy, then they should take a more difficult, another difficult one. And if this person have took the difficult one, they will take another that easy one. That's how I usually do it. But let's say if we have free rider, sometimes you can already see it in the, when you are discussing in group, etc. You already see it.
Yeah.
But there might be some people who active in your group who is very helpful. So try to identify members in your group first. When you identify, oh, this person might be not cooperative, this person is very supportive, this person is the free rider. So in this situation, let's say I'm in group of 5%, and then there's one person is obviously a free rider. So what do I do is that give that person a lighter task, easier task. Why? Because if we kick him from the group, we can cover their parts very well. It will not be burdening us after that. So yeah, give them the easier task, even though it seems unfair. And as the leader, sometimes you need to take the burden to cover that person. So yeah, give them the easiest task first. Then some people they feel like, oh, it's okay lah. We have free rider, it's okay lah. Just do the assignments and then you submit it. But for me, try to ask your lecturers. Your lecturers are there to help you. Try to consult them. Sir or madam, I have this one group mate who doesn't do work, blah 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 blah. So yeah, try to ask for their opinions. If they say, oh, try to, try to endure with that person first, then you will try. If you cannot, then ask madam or sir to remove them. But the most importantly is you need to find support in the group. Let's say, especially if you are the one who's in charge, or you are the one who try to have some teammates who are very supportive, and then you will decide about that free riding together. You will decide about it together. It can be very helpful. Find supportive teammates. Identify which one is the one who love to do works or the stuff, and then you work together. Emphasize on that person or on those teammates. That's how I handle free rider, even though I don't face it too much. But yeah.
All right, perfect. Great tips from both Marsha and Nishu. It's all about taking charge, being a leader, shouldering responsibility, because at the end of the day, you and your groups are responsible for your grades. And what both of you suggested are very, very interesting. And I hope that answers question by Sister Iman Ghazali. So, we are now finally are almost 1 hour and a half going live. Thank you to all our audience who have been staying until the end, posting questions, interacting with us, giving cooperations. We hope that you enjoyed tonight's session. We hope that you learned a thing or two from our speakers, because what they shared are very impactful, to me, very inspiring, and they deserve the achievement because of what they have been practicing. And perhaps we can learn something from them and also apply it, of course, so that we can also become successful like that. So, bak kata orang Melayu, masa pun mencemburui kita, sangat-sangat jealous dia malam ni. So before we end today's session, I would like to express again my greatest thank you to all our audience for your support and to our great speakers for tonight. Thank you for spending your time on behalf of MRC and Mahallah Halimatus Saadiah. We thank you so much for tuning in. We are very honored to have you today. Before we end, last word from Marsha and Mishu. Last word, and then that's it for tonight.
So, hi everyone. Before we end, I know these are quite trying times for all of us, especially with the fact that we don't have a mid-sem break. But don't forget to take breaks, stay hydrated, eat and sleep well. We are all in this together, and I have my utmost belief that you can persevere through it. So you should believe in yourself too. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Marsha. So, Sister Mishu, last word from you.
So my last word is, yeah, same like Sister Marsha. I hope you all will do great because we don't have any midterm break, and I hope that you will try to learn yourself better in order to come up with the most effective study plan for you. Because I believe that every individuals have their own ways, and we are sharing some of the tips that we think can be useful for you that you can might learn from. But at the end of the day, try to find the most effective way for you, the most stable way for you, and try to practice those tips until the end. If you feel like there's something wrong with your way of study, try to change it a little bit, and then you will see the result. Yeah, that's how I do it. Anyway, if you feel overwhelmed, yeah, it's really, really, really okay for you to take a break, to take a rest, find support, to ask for help, and of course, facing Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to find the peacefulness because we always feel overwhelmed. It's okay to take a break from the world for a while. But it's not dying lah, you know what I mean, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for listening us tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. With that being said, thank you so much. If you see at the comment section, it's over flooding with thank you from all our audience. We are thank you to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. We hope that you enjoyed this session and it's a fruitful session for everyone. With that, thank you, and stay tuned for lots of other program from Mahallah Halimatus Saadiah. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Bye, Mishu. Bye,
you.
Marsha.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Good luck, everyone.